we can always pass that on to him later on if you wanted to review anything.
Please, yeah, I definitely want to do that.
Okay, cool, no worries. Well, what I've got up here on the screen, I'm sorry, I didn't even ask. Can you see my screen okay? I've got this Word document up.
Yeah, I've got to put you on hold one more second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That was a little bit of an emergency thing I had to take care of. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. So can you see my screen okay? I've got this Word document open right now.
Yeah, I may need to go get my glasses. It's a little small for me.
Let me make this a little bit bigger. Is that better?
There you go. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
You'll probably recognize this. This is the one we went over during our last meeting. So basically what I wanted to do today was just go over these again and then show you the changes that I made to accommodate the different requests we've got. So this first one here, we've got member versus non-member pricing on courses. So we already have this. This was already built in. And what I talked about doing the last time was we were going to give you an easy way for non-members to basically create a login. And actually, after talking to Chris, it turns out we already have something like that. We'll just need to build in a few small things into it, but I'd like to do your data conversion first. But this one is pretty much taken care of. As soon as we get that data conversion in there, we can set up this process and go ahead and test it. So that one should be pretty much solved. And then we've got these two. These were the big ones here. We've got the ability for one person to purchase multiple courses at once. Previously, they could only purchase one course at a time. So now we've added the ability where they can go in and click on 10 different courses at once and purchase them all together and put them on the same invoice. And then the ability for the parent members to purchase courses for cross-reference members below them. And then also put them all on one single invoice to that parent member instead of making individual invoices for each person.
Okay, can I slow you down for a second?
Mm-hmm.
The members, we're using that term members loosely because we think of the member as the company. If you're talking about member contacts, technically, I guess is what we're saying here, right?
Yes, yeah. Basically anybody that can log into the system.
Well, see, that's another thing we're not used to, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. We have the member company, and then we have contacts that we do business with or that are regularly involved with the association.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these other employees who, in our current situation, they maybe can get a login onto they can't get a login unless they're added as a contact. And we don't normally add just employees that we're never going to see or ever deal with as far as the association goes. But these are for students.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to get my head around it. So yeah, that one doesn't have. If we have students, I'm trying to make some degrees of separation here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got those our members and the contacts that on the association and the membership side are all applicable to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got these students that maybe GM Financial is a good example. Maybe GM Financial is going to have 30, 40, 50 students that we've never heard of and never will see.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that they're, taking advantage and doing the courses, but we don't really want them to have a login to the association side. You see how I'm trying to keep that separate? Is that?
Yes, I definitely understand. Two things here. First, they must have a login in order to use the course system. There's no way around that. But the good thing.
I get that.
Yeah, the good thing is though, we can make it sounds a weird way to say it, but they're sort of non-member member types that they can have a login and they can get into the system, but what they see and what they do is severely limited. So if we wanted to make a member type for you for these students that all they could do was get into the system and access the courses, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
And that would just be
I'm
based on their
having a
permission.
real I had a real hard time with this yesterday. I'll give you an example of what I was going through, and I've tried every nice way I know to correspond with them and to along the same lines of thought that you're saying is I'm trying to get. We've got a GM Financials, the company. I'll just go ahead and say who it is, but they are running a lot of their people through the courses are going to be, and that's good. We don't want to discourage them,
Hmm.
but trying to get them to put the people in individually so I can have some kind of an audit trail or a track who's been paid for and who hasn't.
Hmm.
It's like impossible. They just want to hand us a list of names and say, invoice me for these 30 people.
Hmm.
And they don't fool with it. They don't want their people fooling with it. They don't want their people touching the system. But they
Well,
want
I mean,
us to
they're
have a
going to be
record
going
of
through the
people.
online courses though, correct? Like on the system?
I'm sorry.
Are these student types going to be going through the courses on the system?
Well, right now we don't have that. Right now all we're doing is emailing them the course material, and then we're manually testing them.
Right, but going forward in the new system, are they going to be using the same system as everyone else?
Yeah, yeah.
Then we have there's I mean I'm sorry, there's no way around that. They have to be in the member database somehow. Like I said, they don't have to be
I
full
know.
members. We don't have to give them full permissions, but they must be in there.
Well, and that you were preaching exactly the same sermon I gave them yesterday,
Hmm.
and I've written them 3 emails and plainly said we've got to have a record of each student. Just as you were enrolling at a community college,
Hmm.
you would have this person would have to enroll at the community college
Right.
and have a file on them. We have to have a file on each student,
Hmm.
and they don't get. They say, okay, well here's their name, build it. So if they let's say push comes to shove, and uh, and I get dumped on like I normally do, and they say, Tony, it's your problem. Here's the 30 names. They're all with GM Financial. Put them in the system, and I
Hmm.
want to be able to do that.
Yes, you will. I mean, it'll be tedious. You'll have to add them manually, but you can definitely add people. I'm going to add them as whatever type you want, cross-reference them to the parent member, all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I just got to get them to see that it's just with one person with no staff.
Right.
That's just they're asking too much.
You know,
But
what
anyways,
What
that's
I've
like the
found with other organizations that have done this, because we deal with a lot of organizations that are moving from a paper-based system into a fully electronic one, is that when your members have the option of getting a paper thing and having them do less work, they'll always take it. But if you say, nope, this is the only way you can do this now, well, they don't really have much of a choice at that point. So it's just a matter of getting your members to adjust to something new here.
Yeah, I've just got to get the board to back me on this. Is the
Hmm.
thing. So
Yep. Well, and like I
I
said
get it.
too, if it comes to that and they will not enter them, I mean, you do have the ability to do that. So.
I just want to be able to cleanly differentiate between I don't want to go to the GM Financial member file, and there's maybe 3 people at most I deal with at GM Financial, big company, but I only really see maybe 2 of them at the meetings and deal with maybe 3 or 4 of them at the most.
Hmm.
And that's fine. Those guys to be on the membership management part of things
Hmm.
and managing that. But these 30 members I don't want their names to get lost in these 30 members that happen to have a login because they're just over here taking courses. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And as long as we tag them with the different member types, we make a special student type or even just a course member type, you can sort all these members out by their type. So you can say, I only want to view the actual members. I don't want to look at all the prospects and the students and all that stuff. So.
This was found disrespectful to the member company, and I don't mean it to be, but those all others that we never see at the meetings, I would really like. I mean, we have non-members that can take these courses too, right? So that they obviously aren't going to be associated with a member file.
Mm-hmm.
How do we handle those?
They'll do the same thing. They'll create some kind of account that will only have access to the courses. So they won't show up in all your normal member things, but they will have a login and be able to access these courses.
That's
If we were
fine.
just
I
doing
mean,
a single, if we were just doing a single course and a single certificate, it wouldn't be as big of a deal.
right,
But if you want to be able to track people across 20 different courses and exams and things like that, we need to have some base member record to refer to and to tie those together.
right. You could have some guy, just doing it on his own that's not affiliated with a company at all. I mean, we don't. I don't know who all's going to be, but yeah, I just as long as we have those degrees of separation to where we don't just put a plethora of students into one of the member files, and pollute it with that. As long as we can, like, they're just a course only person, and we can kind of keep them over there to the side, away from all that. That's all. As long as you tell me that we'll be able to do that, that's all I care.
Yes, yep, 100% you'll be able to do that. We'll just separate them out as different member types and we'll be all good there.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, so this one gets back to those parent members. So GM Financial would be able to purchase courses for any cross-reference members below them. So any students or their other members or anything like that. And they'll be able to put it all on one invoice directed to them. So these other people that they bought the courses for, they would then have access to the courses after that, but they wouldn't get an invoice because the parent company would be paying for that. And then down here we have add a check payment option for courses. So right now, or previously, it was online only. You had to pay with a credit card immediately. Now we've added an option where they can choose to pay by check. And if they choose to pay by check, it makes the courses that they purchased available immediately to them and to anyone else that they purchased them for. So these three are kind of together. Let me just walk you through how this is going to look for the members now. We're going to pull in. I'm on our testing server right now because I haven't pushed all this out into production yet in case we need to make changes.
One quick question before you get off that last point.
Mm-hmm.
Where they do the check payment, we go ahead and let them do the course or see the course or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want them to be able to take the test until
correct. Yep, and that actually, I'll get to that one in a moment, but that's the Proctor code one down here, and I'll show you how we're going to set that up here. But I have taken that into account, so don't worry. All right, so let me get down here to the course area. And again, this is just our testing site, so there's tons of extra stuff on here. And we'll get to the main course page here. So previously, these top buttons up here did not exist, but now we can do things like this. So we can purchase multiple courses at once. So this is just if I want to purchase multiple courses for myself. Any of the courses that I'm allowed to purchase, because we have different levels, like you can restrict courses to certain people or things like that. So any that I'm allowed to purchase will be listed down here. And I can click this to check all or none. So once you got a bunch of tests, we can do that way. And then I can click purchase courses right there, and it will create an invoice with all those on there. The other one, we got purchase courses for cross-reference members. This is only going to show up if you're a parent member. So if you're not a parent member, nobody will even see this button. So there's nothing to be confused about. They'll only see this one if it applies to them. And when I click on this one, we get a list of all the members, and these numbers are just quick member accounts that I cross-reference to myself for testing. So we get a list of all the members, and these are in this little accordion thing. And we can expand or collapse all of them. So if they just want to do all this, and they can check all or none, and then within each box as well. And you'll see here we get different courses for each person. This is because they take into account what people have permissions for. This probably won't apply to you, but in the future, if you ever want to do stuff like that, you can definitely narrow this down, and it won't be a blank list for everybody. So, and then once we do that, we'll just purchase all these courses for everybody. We go to purchase courses. We get this one here, and I've got these extra invoices here. Don't worry about those. They won't see those. But you see we've got all these different courses here for all these different members on one single invoice, and then the pay by check option down here. And I'm going to make this a little more prominent, but all they have to do is check this box and continue, and now their courses are paid for, and they can continue going through that. And let me just show you.
Yeah, can you watch my screen a little bit? I'm having.
There you go. Is that better?
Hey, yeah, that's great.
Okay. Let me go here. I just want to show you what that invoice is now going to look like. I'll go to have myself.
This is minor, but I want to ask this: when people sign on to take our courses now, and I know you just probably kind of skipped to the chase, but there's like a you probably looked at it and you saw the explanation page that kind of gave a course description and who should be taking the car certification test and that kind of thing.
What we'll do for that is we're going to make you just a regular content page for that one on your website, and then there will be a link that will link directly into the courses from there. That'd be the easiest way to handle that one.
Good deal.
Okay, let me go down. This is the invoice I just created here. And so this is what that invoice is then going to look like for the member company. We're going to have the course name listed, and then who they purchase it for. And so you go down, and it will split itself into multiple pages if it needs to. So you can see that it's purchased all these courses for all these different people, and it's all on one single invoice that they can then pay. All right, everything look good from there so far?
I think so.
Okay.
Now, the invoice is being generated as they build their order.
Yep.
And so when they place the order, it's emailed to them when they submit their order.
Actually, that was what I was going to mention. I noticed when I was going through your stuff yesterday that it does do that. Ours doesn't currently email them when they purchase it, but I can do that really easily. That'll only take me an hour or two. So I already have a note on here to do that. So basically, as soon as they hit that thing where it says purchase course, or they pay by check and everything, it will create the invoice because it's already created. Then it's just going to pop an email over to them, and then I'll have it copy one to you as well, so that you'll see when somebody purchases courses as well.
That's what I see.
Okay, perfect. All right, so there are those three. Let's go back to our document here. All right. Add the proctor code for the courses and tests. So the way that we're going to set this up is each course is basically going to be divided into two separate courses. There's going to be the course material, which is going to be all the stuff that they go through, all the information and the slides and everything that you sent us. And then the second one will be the exam with all the exam questions on there. And we have the ability right now to make one course dependent on another one. So the way that this is going to be set up is the course material will basically be the parent course, and then the exam will be the child course. Child courses cannot be taken or even seen until the parent one is finished. So basically, once they purchase all of these ones and they complete them, then they'll be able to take the exams. But only once they enter.
I'm sorry. Slow down. You're talking to a hillbilly. Remember now, okay? You gotta go slow. Let's go back over what you were talking about. Parent courses and what was the other course?
It's going to be the child course, and that's going to be the exam at the end. So the way that I got all of your course material is they were split into two. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just trying to get your terminology. I get that now.
Okay.
The parent is the information. The child is the test.
Yep, exactly. And so the child, the test one, can't be taken until the parent one is purchased and completed. So you're not going to have to worry about anybody trying to take the test before they get the course material or anything like that. And this also allows us to charge money for the course material and make the test free, which I believe is what you wanted to do, correct?
Yeah, that's technically the way it's supposed to be. I don't know that that's how it's been working, but that makes more sense.
Okay, well, that's how it will work now, so we won't have to worry about that then. But a key one with the test was the proctor code. So let me go in here and show you, and this is going to be on the setup now when you set up courses. And again, we're going to set all these up for you initially. You'll just have to let us know some of the info. But I do have one of my coworkers right now going through and adding your courses. So let me just get into the courses here. And I'm just going to pull up a random one. Okay, so we added a new thing right here just for enable proctor code. If that is set to no, we lose that option. But if we set it to yes, we can put whatever we want in here. And then if anyone tries to take this course, it's going to prompt them for that proctor code before it's going to let them continue. And if I go back here.
Okay, now here's my question. And there's there's kind of a disconnect, and not intentional on either one of our parts, but I'm not ever really, when I find out somebody's taking a test, when all of a sudden I get a congratulations notice from the chairman of the committee that says so-and-so took his test and he passed with flying colors. Let's congratulate Joe for graduating. And I go to look, and I don't even have an order in the system for Joe. And I don't, here he's already passed his test, and obviously all this is going to take care of that. But I guess I said all that to say this is I'm trying to think the process through in my head how we establish that proctor code, and I'm assuming it's individual. We'll do one for each individual person who's testing.
It'll actually be one per course. It'll be a unique one per course. So the course one would be the same proctor code for everyone, but it'd be the unique one per course.
The unique one.
Here, let me show
sure.
you. Let me show you in practice
Yeah.
how that's going to look. Let me go back down to the courses here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who's going to go in and put this in and when, and I'm assuming it's probably going to be Dave, but we don't want a guy going back to his company and there's 20 other people taking the test coming up, and him say, "Oh yeah, just well, of course the proctor's the only one who's going to see it, but even then we don't want a proctor to be able to go back. This guy may be just proctoring one time in his life. It may be a teacher from the local state college who's been hired to go over there and proctor. We don't want them to be able to go back in and give proctor codes out to people. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, we could make it extremely more complicated and make it per person, but that's going to take a whole lot more time. And even then, I mean, you'd have to cut off his access or something after that. I'm sorry.
I'm naive to all this. I get that, but in my head, I was thinking, well, this thing's going to generate a unique code for each person taking the test, and it'll be emailed to us or something, and we'll know what to type in there. I'm just trying to think of some easier way to automate the process and yet keep it secure. We don't want people just going back to the office or reusing codes to it can get pretty loose and unsecure at that point, and then the courses are kind of out there for anybody to dial into whenever they want to. That's what we're trying to avoid.
I mean, you could always change the proctor code after somebody's used it and just hand out the new one to someone else, or I mean, those are basically your choices. You can keep it more simple for everybody and keep it like this, or you can make it extremely more complicated, but it'd be more secure. Unfortunately, it can't be both there. There's going to be work on either side. I mean, if we're generating a unique one for every single person taking the test, that's going to be a whole lot of manual work because you're going to have 50 different proctor codes, one for each person, and
I'm thinking changing it. You got to remember how we're doing these tests. That either we've made an appointment. It's not like there's hundreds of these taking place all over America every day. Okay. This is like not much, probably no bigger than a daily event, in the fact that maybe today we have somebody going over to Lease Plan USA in Atlanta, and they've got two employees there that are going to be taking the test. So we say, okay, here's you a code, and they go in and
wait,
administer the test.
So you want the actual test taker to be able to enter the proctor code? Because the way that we talked about it last time is you would have a proctor that would enter the code for them.
You're exactly right. But what I'm saying is we've got some guy who's not affiliated with us. He's a local educator, or we have a car graduate from another company come over there and administer the test. But, they all know each other, and it's a small world out there. And I just want them to be able to reuse that code the next day or down the road. That code needs to be good for that day, maybe. That's kind of what I've got in mind.
I mean, I'll be honest, is that a really huge security concern that you think that they're going to be trying to share the codes with people? And I mean, because it's going to be so specific to when they're going to be using that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it is. We may give, what we might do is give Dave, because a lot of the times he's going to be the proctor, but we might give Dave an individual code, and maybe if we're at a conference, we might give 6 people an individual code. But we can't have 6 codes good at one time. One code's only going to be good, right? I mean, you can't have 6 different proctor codes. That's the question, I guess.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of a better way to approach this because, like I said, if we have it changed per person or have a new one every day or something, it's going to get really complicated on your end. I'm just telling you that right now. It's going to get extremely complicated. Nobody's going to know what their current code is. Nobody's going to know who has access. You know what I mean? Um,
I get this, but we can't have. I mean, it's like having a combination lock to Fort Knox, and too many people get to know the combination. We it we can't just have a one code that somebody writes it down or remembers it or something and says, yeah, here's the code how to get in and look at the test before you go take it. I mean, we lose some integrity there. I'm not trying to be too hard, but I'm just saying we've got to maintain the integrity of the test by by making sure it doesn't fall into people's hands. Um, I know there's not 100% good answer here, but I don't like what I'm seeing with this. There's got to be a better way.
okay. Well, you know what? Let's put a pin in that one. I'll come back to that. I'll have to think about that one. I can't give you a direct answer right now. So I'll have to think about that one and get back to you. So let's move on
Okay.
past that one then. Um,
Okay.
Course grouping. This is the main one we're talking about with grouping your courses together so that the entire group will award a certification and they can be taken in any order. For the users, they're not going to see anything there. I mean, well, they'll see a couple things, but they're not going to care about how things are grouped together. This is going to be an admin thing that's going to determine these permissions. Let me go into the course here. So when you're on the admin side, we've got a new thing here for manage course groups. This basically, you guys are only going to create one, but you'll be able to create multiple ones if you ever need to. So we can create a new one here to show you how this looks. We can call it what we want, so we can call it car certification. We can give it a description, so you can put in all your information about the group here and about what all of it does and everything. We can pick which certificate it awards, and we have a certification manager where you can create these and create the actual certificate and everything like that. So once that's set up, you'll be able to choose which one you want to link it to here. And this means that once they've completed whatever the minimum amount of courses in here, they will be awarded that certificate immediately without you guys having to do anything extra. We've got a completion time frame in days. So this one, I believe you said that they have 3 years to complete everything. So we can put whatever number we want in here. I can't do the math on that, but let's say 900 days. I know it's more than that, but what this does is every time someone completes a course, it then evaluates and it says, okay, you've completed this course. What other ones in the group have you completed, and are they within that time frame from today? So if I had completed one course 4 years ago, but then all the rest, within recent time, it would ignore that one from 4 years ago. It's only going to be looking at ones completed within the time frame here. And then we have minimum number of courses.
Well, I'm not sure I understood what you just said. Are you saying that it's renewing the 3-year deadline each time they take a test, or I'm not quite sure.
No, only so okay. So they need to take all their tests within a 3-year period, correct?
All of them, yeah, within 3 years.
So let's say that I completed 19 of them within 3 years, but I completed one of them outside of that. I completed that one like 4 years ago. Okay. Even though technically I've completed all the ones within the group to award the certificate, because that one would have been outside of the time frame that I set, it's not going to count that one. And it's going to say, no, actually, you need to complete that test again in order to be awarded the certificate.
Ah, okay.
And again, because you guys are only doing this one for the first time and then they're doing a recertification exam later, this is only going to apply the first time that they do this. Later on, then they'll be renewing based on that other exam. And that's actually something I meant to mention. I forgot to add that in here, but I'll do that. I'm going to make it so that a course can only be taken one. Like, remember how I was talking before about the parent and the child courses? I'm going to set it up so that basically we'll have a child course based off of a group. So that course will only show up once they've completed an entire group of courses. So that will be your recertification exam that they'll see. So they won't even see that until they've completed this whole thing one time. And then we can renew based on that.
Okay.
All right, and then down here we've got minimum number of courses to complete to award the certificate. So say, you had this, it's going to be 20 for you guys, but say you had 25 courses and they only needed to complete 20 of them, we could do that here and they could pick and choose. But this is basically going to set the number that they must complete this many courses within the group in order to award the certificate. And then down here we've got all the courses, and so all you got to do is just check the ones that you want included in the group like that, and then that will define this as a course group together. And again, we're going to create this for you initially. You won't have to worry about setting all this up initially. The only time you'll probably ever mess with this is if you want to change things around a little bit in the future. But we'll take care of setting all of this up at the outset.
When you said course groupings, and again, it's just a matter of terminology. When I think of course group, I'm thinking about how we have them segmented in anywhere from 3 to 5 courses. We call them units. That's not the same thing as what you're calling a course group.
No, this is going to be, so basically the only things in the group for you guys is going to be the exams, because those are the ones that really need to be completed. So we'll have all 20 exams in there, and as they complete those exams, it will mark off courses completed for the group here. And then once all the tests have been completed, it will award that certificate automatically.
Okay, and you already said that you made it to where they could buy 1 course or 5 courses or 20 courses or whatever. So.
Yep. So they could come in here at the beginning and purchase all the ones they needed for the group if they wanted to at the outset. And then if they go in and they take those proctored exams, then they would complete parts toward the group completion and award the certificate from there.
All right.
All right, so we've got those. Oh, you know what? I'm going to add or show you this here too. We've got view course. This is on the user side again, so this is what the users are going to see. If you've got a course group set up, they can see what their progress is in it. And you'll see here, you'll just have the one. We can actually even make it go directly there. But if you have multiple course groups, they can see their progress on each one. And as I look here, I can see that I've completed these 3 right here. These are my completion dates, and these ones I have not completed yet. So this is a report that and I created an admin version of this for you, so you can look at anybody and see what their completion toward the whole group is here. But this will be a quick way that they can see this and see what they've completed and what they haven't.
Bill, if we come up with some terminologies that are common to us, and of course you have terminologies that are common on your end, is there room to, in some of these places, to change some of that terminology to where our people will get it? I mean,
not without a great deal of work, because it's all hard-coded text into the system. So you can call your courses and everything whatever you want, but I mean, it's going to show up as course or test or group or anything like that.
Okay, because I just, I'm trying to figure out things like you say, course and group mean different things to us than what I'm seeing, so I'm having to square my mind around to it.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to be way more complicated for you because you're the admin than for anybody who's taking them, because they're just going to see the list of courses. They're not going to care which one is a test, which one is a course, which one's in a group, which one's not. They're not going to care about any of that. They're just going to go through and take the courses that they see there.
Okay, well, I'm going to have a real learning curve, I can tell, but keep going.
Well, and we'll definitely run you through training on this before you go ahead and do anything. So by the time you come in here, we will have already added all your courses. We'll have added all the course data for the members that you sent us, and we'll have created your group for you, and probably your certificate too if you send us that data. So all this stuff will be set up for you. So then when we do the training, we'll go through and say, okay, here's how your group is set up. Here's how your courses are set up. And you'll just be able to see those and then edit them if you want. So it's not like we're going to say, okay, here's how this works. Go ahead and add all your stuff. Like, we're going to take care of that for you.
You trigger with some of the things you're saying, and I have to jump in and just kind of add these, whether they make sense or not. But I know as of late, just this past week, we've had like 3 or 4 more new graduates, and so I don't know. Are you communicating with Dave any at all on like you said you're adding data? If he provided you, I know at one time, a spreadsheet of the graduates and their progress and all that.
Yeah,
And I assume you're
that right now, I can't do anything with that right now because in order to convert that data for you, we need to have all the courses added, we need to have a group created, and we need to have all your member data converted. So once all that stuff is in
Mhm.
there, then I'll get in touch with Dave and get a very fresh copy of that member
Okay.
course data, and then I'll put all that into the system.
That is the first important step after you do that to get a fresh, complete one from him. But with that, let me qualify that by saying that Dave has no idea who's paid and who hasn't. So keep that in mind.
I mean, do we have that
He
data
can tell
anywhere?
you. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Well, and a lot of them he's congratulating and patting on the back that have already passed and are writing me emails wanting their certificate and their pen have not paid.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I went through yesterday with GM Financial. I've been trying for weeks to get them to give me, let's get these people in the system. And they keep apologizing, but they're not, it's kind of like they don't want to fool with it. And they just expect it all to happen without us having any kind of a record on that student other than and I get it. I mean, they say, well, no, wait a minute. We've studied and we took the test. They've got our information. Dave's got it on his spreadsheet, but I don't have anything on them other than Dave's spreadsheet. I can see looking at his record, who has taken tests and who has graduated, but then he writes me and says, hey, have they paid? And I'm like, no. And so then I get involved, and it's kind of like you've done let the cow out of the barn. They've already tested. The good thing is I'm telling them that the system won't, which is half truth and half lie, but I'm telling them that the system won't let me produce a certificate or a pen or let me mail the pen until we get the record complete. And I mean, that means number one, write me a check. Number two, I need to know who this check is for. Who are you paying for?
Right.
And then I go back. They tell me, they say, well, this is for Joe Smith and Sally Brown. And I go in the system, and Joe Smith and Sally Brown haven't ordered any courses. They're just sharing the same course material down the hall with each other.
Right.
So that's kind of what that's the. I'm hoping this will, and this should. I mean, I'm hoping that what you're doing is going to help us get a handle on that.
Well, this at least will keep all of your data together. So it's not going to be like Dave's going to have some of it and you're going to have the rest. It will all just be here. And so you'll be able to see, okay, they've completed this many, they have paid for this, they haven't paid for this. So you'll definitely be able to see all the data together there.
Well, I definitely, once we get his fresh list, I can tell you which ones have paid and which ones haven't, that I'd have to go in the system for each one and tell you. I mean, I'd have to go down through there and tell you whether they were paid or not.
What would probably be best then at that point, because like I said, I don't need it now. It would be fruitless to do it now because we just have to redo it again later once we get the rest of the data in. But when we get to that point, if Dave can send that to you and then you can mark in the spreadsheet who's paid and who hasn't, and then send that to me, then I can take all that data and I can convert it all at once and get all your correct data in there for the courses taken, for the everything like that, the invoicing.
For the most part, I'll have to go down through there and just look them up by name and see if I've got a payment record for them. And then the bad thing is maybe I have got a check, but I can't figure out who the check's for because nobody ever gave me a name.
Right. Well, in this way, at least I'll have an invoice that they can, write on the check, invoice number or whatever, and you'll be able to see, sort of who's purchased courses and things like that. So hopefully that should make that easier on your end too, from the billing wise.
The thing is, we could do that now if they would go in and enroll them.
Right.
But they obviously they can't go in. I mean, they can go in and purchase courses now and then write a note on there. This is for Joe Smith and Sally Brown.
Yeah.
And some people have done that, and I can still find them that way. But it's just I think it's just a matter of, it's a process thing. It's nothing you can help, but it's
just getting them to follow instructions, right?
You got somebody, whether I suggested to GM, I said, look, each one of your students just go in and order the courses and tell them to select the pay by check, and it'll send them an invoice, and you can do with that what you want to. You know, I can make you a group invoice, or you can pay them individually, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get them in the system. They said, well, no, we don't want them touching the system with too much errant information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what, they don't know their name, you know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So, you know, it's, there's a lack. I'm going to have to
Well,
work on this end.
this should cut down on that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, like I said, they're forced to log into the system in order to take any of the courses. So that, I mean, that should, by the time they get to you, they should definitely be entered into the system somehow, one way or the other. And we should have that data linked back to who their parent member is, what invoice they're on, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, what I think, you know, and maybe I'm just going to speak with Dave about the process or whatever, but if he can communicate that and make that clear to them that, guys, look, we can't, this is all automated, and we have to have a record for each student. So we have to, whether you enter their names or if you hand it to us and we try to enter them by committee or whatever, you know, we've got to, those names have to be entered before we can go forward.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I didn't mean to kick a dead cow for so long, but let's just keep going. And,
okay. No, I totally get it. And, you know, and honestly, that's one of the things we run into a lot with, especially with orgs transitioning from paper to completely online, is that they need to retrain their members. Their members have to adjust to something new, to a new way of doing it. So there's always going to be that adjustment. But you know what I always suggest to people is either to and we can write up instructions for you too, but a lot of times clients will like make videos and be like, okay, if you're a member, you go here and take these, and, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of times that will help them out. And so anyway, but all right, let's see what else we had on here. Okay, so course data, we talked about this a little bit. So we have all your current course data, so that's good. I've already entered a couple of them, and then I have one of my coworkers entering the rest. I did have a couple questions, though, and Dave may know these and not you, but either way I can communicate them to you. The stuff I looked at, and maybe I was just missing it, but I didn't see the price for any of the courses in the data, and I didn't see what the passing percentage for the exam should be, like what counts as a passing, what counts as a fail. And I don't need that data right at the moment, but if you can get that to me somehow, that would be great, and then we can enter that into our system.
Do this. Can you go to our webpage for just a second?
Yes. What is it again?
IARAonline.org.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, click purchase car courses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these prices are valid here? So 50 and 100 pretty much for all these?
When you were talking about grouping, I was thinking like legal ethics and terminology. There's 2 courses in that group. There's 4 up there in post-sale activities, or 5, I mean. And that's when we talk about, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's just a terminology thing. Because, in ours, these will all just be separate ones. But
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important that if you guys just spend a little bit of time on our website and see what we're going from to what we're going to, it'll answer a lot of those questions. And you see we've got unit prices, and we've got, you know, which there's really no discount for doing that. It's just that if they want to buy one single course, if they want to buy a unit of courses that kind of make sense together. Or they want to go, you know, scroll to the bottom, I think. Let me see if there's something down there. Continue. There's the thing about your continuing education. Do the click here on the continuing education down there at the bottom.
Okay, so just a PDF here.
Yeah, because that tells you a lot of what you're asking right there.
Okay, so as long as these prices are valid, that works for me. We won't have the ability to break them into units like this, but they can purchase multiple ones of these at once with the thing that I made. So that's not. It's just going to be different. They can do the same thing they're doing now. It's just going to be a little slightly different. But I don't. So the prices are okay. I'm sorry.
Could we add a descriptor page perhaps somewhere there that they can see them grouped like this? even though they can't purchase them, even though you don't have the.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what I was talking before about creating some content pages on your website. So it makes no sense to program that into the site. I mean, it's just going to be text anyway. But we can make you a content page that basically lists this, and they can click on each one and see the description of it and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay, I don't want to lose any of the niceties of the things where, cause right now I can basically say, hey, go to the website right here. It'll tell you all about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll tell you what these are about. And like if you click on one of those courses right there where your pointer is, right below it. Yeah.
Yep.
And you see all this course description stuff. We don't want to lose that.
No, you won't. We're just going to create content pages to handle that. We don't need to create those. We don't need to program those into the system. We can create those as pure content pages for you, where people can just look and see all the courses and click and do whatever they want. So, because it's all just text right here. So.
Yeah, but for all the good that you have, at any point in time, if they're reading this, they go, "Oh yeah, this is what I want to do." They can click right there and get it. But
Right, but the difference here, so we can have those buttons, and they'll go right to the course area. But the difference is we'll force them to log in, because right now I don't need to log in when I do any of the stuff from you guys. So it's just like I said, it will do the same thing. It's just gonna be a little bit different, just because of the way that our system works.
Well, let me ask you. You're saying with us, you don't have to log in; you can just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does create a record for them. I mean, it does create a record. What? I guess I'm trying to figure out why we have to. We're adding an extra step with you guys if we have to log in.
We're not really adding an extra step. This is just the way that our system works. So you must log in. I'm sorry to put it that way, but there's no way around that. They must log in order to do this.
Okay.
So.
And if they're not a member, they're going to. I just hope it doesn't discourage a non-member to say, "Well, hell, that I ain't a member of this place. I don't have a login for that."
Well, and that's why we're going to create. That's why we're going to have that process where they can create their course account, or that they can create a login so they can access the course material.
I think because of that, because of the fact that you have to log in with you guys, that we need to make a little bigger deal of somewhere, just maybe just one single line placed strategically that says you don't have to be an IRA member to be CAR certified.
Yep, we can totally, like I said, if we set this up like this kind of thing as a content page, you can put whatever text in there that you want. You can create a video and put it there. You can create pictures explaining how to do it. You can add all your PDFs and everything. So yeah, there won't be an issue, I don't think, with as long as you can get people to read it. I don't think there will be an issue with setting that stuff up. So.
I mean, it's almost going to have to be an attention getter because I feel like we're losing some functionality right there.
No, you're not. You're not going to lose any functionality. It's just going to be different. People can still log in. They can create the courses. They can buy purchase them. They can take them. It's all going to be. They can still do everything they're doing now. It's just going to be different.
I get that. I guess maybe functionality might not be the word. In fact, you add increased functionality. I understand that, but I think what I should have said is we're losing some ease of use especially for non-members.
Right, and and that's going to happen if you add more security and better tracking and things like that. I mean, it has to be a little more complicated. It has to, we have to force them to log in so we know who that person is.
Yeah,
it's a trade-off, Tony, but it's in the direction you wanted. I think.
It is. I mean, I don't discount any of what you're saying there and any of that. It's just I'm trying to forecast where the pushback's going to be and where the complaints are going to come from, and I'm playing devil's advocate probably to the T, but no, no doubt you bring a lot of really good features and things that we can't currently do with this. This is just a good shopping cart page. And so it does do that part well, but it doesn't do the rest. So
right.
So like it's a trade-off. It's there's some things that are going to be better and some things that may not be as good. But for this one doesn't take us through the whole process, and it doesn't do the tracking and the grading, and you can go on and on with all the things and that's why we're doing this. But I guess guys like me don't think ahead and think of some of the speed bumps we're going to hit, to get there. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay. Keep going.
Okay. Well,
I mainly just want to see that page because it's got a lot of the, there's a car handbook down there and all kinds of
mm-hmm.
stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of materials in here that we want you to be aware of while you're building this course site.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as long as all these prices are valid, that solves that question for me. I will let our person know that that's what they're going to be. The passing percentage though for the exams, are they all 100% or can they score below that and still pass or?
Scroll out on your page there a little bit. I'm still having a hard time reading.
Oh, I'll make it bigger here. There we go.
I mean, could you increase it?
Yep.
Go back up to the top. I think there's something up there. I thought that was on there, but I guess it's not. I'm thinking that it's, don't quote. Let's ask Dave on that one. Do you have Dave Sutton's email?
Yeah, I believe he's on the ticket too.
Okay. Yeah, just if you will, and always copy me on those communications if you can, so I know what's being said.
Oh yeah, no, I'll respond to him on the ticket, so you guys will all get it. So we're going to ask Dave about percentages.
I want to say it's 75%, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well I'll definitely confirm that with him then.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Email notifications. So I set some email notifications up for the certifications. So once they're awarded a certification, you can set reminders to say when they're X number of days from expiration or past expiration, we can send automatic emails. But I think you guys said you had some other ones based on the courses and the groups. I just need details on those. And once you guys send me some details on when those emails should go out and under what circumstances, I can set all that stuff up for you. But I did set them up for the certificates.
Yeah, and I know there's when they purchase a course, some kind of a confirmation letter, or when they enroll, especially some kind of a thank you letter. But those are the one, and the reminder emails are the big thing. Because we have that 3-year thing, and if they let as much as 2 years pass, or even a year pass, out of sight, out of mind, we want to make sure they remember to stay on track.
Yep, and that's perfect. So like I said, all I need for that is I just need you guys to send me a schedule of what emails should go out, when they should go out, what the text should be, that kind of stuff. And then I can program all those into there for you.
Will you please add that to the ticket that you send and copy Dave on, okay?
Yep. So I'm just making a note here. Tickets. Okay, and I'll write on all the specific details of what I'll need for that on the ticket so that we all have it.
Okay.
Okay, and then reporting was the last one. You saw that I made this, where was it? This group report here. But if you need any other reports, all I need are templates of those and what you want them to look like, what data should be on there, that kind of stuff. And then I can create those for you as well.
That again is Dave's question since he's keeping up with the program, and I imagine he's going to say he's used that spreadsheet that he gave you. He's used to seeing all that, and he's going to want at least to be able to see everything you see there.
Okay.
So that's a good place to start. But now, as far as did I send you a template of the certificate?
No, I have not gotten that yet. And that was actually another question I had right after this one was that. So I need that as well. But I can add that to the ticket if you want.
I want to tell you what we do now is different than what you're going to do. And maybe give me a little coaching here. Let me ask you because you know what other people do. Right now, we have a template saved, and we buy this real nice looking bordered certificate paper at Staples or Office Depot, and we put that in the copier and print out these certificates manually one by one and send them a nice little lapel pin along with their certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Do most of your people buy a thick bond award paper to print this on, or do they just print them out on their copier with with the border already there, or do you give them can you give them a copy of either? Can you say bordered or unbordered?
So right now, most of the people that I deal with that use the certifications, they create the whole certificate within the system and then just print it off on regular paper and send it to people. And the members can do that for themselves too. So if I'm a member and I've been awarded a certificate, once I log in, I can see that certificate and I can print it off for myself if I want. Let me go into.
It just kind of cheapens it though, you know. But are you able to give them that option to say, hey, you print one on plain paper or print on bordered award paper? Is that something we can do? Can we give them two choices, or
as of right now, no. Let me show you. Where is that? It's online learning here. Oops. As you can see, I can never find anything on here either. There it is.
I realize they use a color printer and they put it under glass. It's going to look okay anyways, I guess. But
let me see one where I've set one up here.
I just try to identify everybody's hot spots. And when I first came on board here, they made a big deal of that. Oh, now you need to use this real nice. Here's the paper you need to use. And I'm like, really? And so.
Okay, so here's a good example. We have this one group right here. So what you can do is when you're creating a certificate, you can upload a background image. So this was their background image that they wanted to put on here. It's got the border and their logo and all this kind of stuff on here and the signature. And if we preview it here, you can see this is how it will look to somebody if they're getting it. And you'll see the dates are up here. We can move those around too, and we can move the name where it needs to go. So we can set up your certificates to look just like this. Now, if you wanted to, I don't think it would be too much of a stretch for me to make an option to say, okay, if they click this one, then don't print it with the background image. But you lose anything, like it wouldn't just be, you would lose everything in the background. So like if you had a signature and a border and anything else in here, the whole image would be gone. And it would just be completely blank.
Yeah. I got you.
So that's possible. It's possible I could do that, but you know, I couldn't just do, okay, just get rid of this part of the image or something like that, if that makes sense.
What I'll do, I'll just scan one of our printed award sheets filled out and everything, and kind of maybe send you a blank one and send you I'll send you 2 or 3 images so you'll see what we're doing.
Okay.
And see how you can assist me with that to make one that would be suitable for us.
Okay. Yeah. If I can see them, I can give you a much more clear and direct answer on what we could and couldn't do with it. So.
I'll send you something.
Okay, perfect. Let me just make a note on that.
You can put that on your order too if you want to, just as a reminder.
Okay, no problem.
You need.
Sorry, I'm just making some notes here. All right. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, we're okay. Okay, so that's for everything in here. I did talk to one of my coworkers this morning who's doing the framework, and he said that he sent in a framework for you to verify last week, but hasn't heard back yet. He just wanted me to mention it, that he is done with that, and he just needs your verification on it whenever you get a chance to.
What?
My coworker who's building your website, he sent in for you to verify it and make sure everything looks okay, but he said he hasn't heard back yet. So just whenever you get a chance, if you can look that over and answer any questions that he might have had. He just asked me to mention to you.
Who would it be?
I'm sorry?
Who sent it?
That would be John, I believe.
And do you know what day?
He said last week sometime. I don't know exactly what day he sent it, but I can have him send it to you again if you like, if that'd be easier.
Yeah, well, I'll go look for it, but I don't.
I'll just have him send it again. That's no big deal.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll send him a note right after we get off the phone here and have him send that to you again.
Okay. And like I say, it's probably my fault, but I have been absolutely piled on, and I'm going straight from your phone call to another phone call.
I understand, believe me. All right, well, I think that's everything that I wanted to go over. Is there anything I didn't go over today that we want to talk about, or any questions you might have? Other than the proctor code, I'll think about that and get back to you on that. But
did you get down to the bottom of what you were doing there a while ago?
Yep, that's all of it. We got to do with the reporting, so.
Yeah, reporting again. You're putting that on the order, so yep. I don't know. Again, this is the education part. So Dave's more he may have some things in mind. Obviously, definitely, he wants all the things that are on his spreadsheet, and then whether obviously if they're paid or unpaid, we want that. So I think he's his report, as archaic and complicated as it may be. When there's a couple of us, we said, Dave, how are you keeping up with all this? And he sent us that Excel spreadsheet, and we looked at each other and said, we got to get him a program. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if he had to hand that over to somebody else, he knows what's going on there, and he's got it in his head, and you can figure it out and follow along, looking at it. But that, I mean, that's just, there's too many things can slip through the cracks if you try to use that and keep up with payments and everything else.
Exactly. Well, the good thing is since all the data is here together, I'll be able to compile everything into one report if that's what you guys need. So I can pull course data, member data, payment data, all that stuff into a single report. So as long as I can see what the needs are, and if we have a template or we just know what he needs there, then I can put that together.
Let me ask you, and I know everything in Memberly, sizes to the device that you're using, like if it's a pad or a phone or whatever, the screen. What do you call that when the screen adjusts to?
Responsive.
Responsive, yeah. You have responsive screen. So is it fair to say that a person could go into one of these test sites and take the test on their smartphone?
They totally could. I wouldn't recommend it, but they definitely could. It would be really difficult to do on a little phone, but they could if they wanted to. There's nothing holding them back there.
I'm just I know when we go to these sites, we're going to have a certain amount of people to volunteer laptops, or maybe we need to get hold of some cheap Chromebooks or something like that, and or to use for testing. I wouldn't mind. I don't know what's the minimum price on the laptop. Somebody's probably going to pay if they get something just to be used for testing, just for internet access and testing.
Yep.
Any ideas?
To be honest, I haven't looked at that stuff in a while. I think at one point Chromebooks were going for like $200, but that was a while ago that I looked, so I'm not quite sure what they're going for right now.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if we had, if we bought like 3 or 4, just had them, ship them with our stuff for testing and everything. That might be the thing we do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I think that'd probably be best. But if somebody absolutely had to or wanted to, they could totally use their phone. There's nothing preventing it from working on a mobile device. So.
And there's a lot more people that have phones than have pads. But obviously, a pad would work better than a phone.
Right. Yep.
Anyways, we'll figure it out. I'm just trying to think of and the fact you can probably get those Chromebooks cheaper than you can get a pad. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure about that, but I don't know how much they cost, but I'm sure you can get them cheaper than an iPad. So.
Yeah. Well, but there's like little Android pads.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Wi-Fi. Maybe that might be smaller and easier. And if we could get 6 of those for $70 or something, or $80. That might be the way to do it. I just want to. I guess the question I'm asking is if a 7-inch pad is adequate. I don't know what it looks like on that. I don't have one here, but you've looked at the testing and everything on pads before, I'm presuming?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, that wouldn't be my first choice if you're asking me what I'd recommend. I wouldn't recommend using a phone or a 7-inch tablet to do that. A larger tablet or computer would be your best bets. But like I said, it will work on anything. So, they'll be able to pinch and zoom and take the test and do anything else that they need to do on either or on any modern device. So.
Other than a laptop, what size pad do you think would be adequate?
I would say at least a 10-inch one. And I think usually they do 7-inch and then 10 inches the next one up after that.
Right.
I just think,
And
I personally have a 7-inch one. I wouldn't want to take the exams on it just because it'd be really small. But my wife has a 10-inch one, and I think that one would work fine.
it works good. Okay. Well, that's kind of what I'm just trying to think ahead here, and those are things that may not get a chance to ask you later, but I was just curious. So,
And, I know that there are several Android tablets on the market that are sort of tablet slash laptop, so they have a keyboard you can attach to them. So maybe that's the way you want to go.
well, it's more about money than anything. I'm just
Right.
trying to find the cheapest device that we can use to create a test environment. If we're at a conference, like we're going to be in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks, and they give us a room for testing, and we just pass out papers, and then we grade the papers, and then he manually writes them or types them in on his spreadsheet. And I'm just trying to think of a way that if people come in and say, oh, I didn't bring a laptop, I didn't bring a whatever, and you could ask people to bring their laptops for their own laptop for testing, but I think it would work better if we had some small, whatever the smallest, least expensive thing that we can ship to conferences and have them laid out there on the table,
Okay.
logged in and ready to go, So.
Yeah, if it were me, looking into this, I would probably look into either a Chromebook or a netbook. I think those are fairly cheap right now. Like I said, though, I'm definitely not an expert on that, but that would be the route that I would start with, at least looking at those.
Right. I think the Chromebook and what was the other one you said? An netbook?
They're called netbooks. Yeah, they're basically small, tiny, low-powered laptops, but they'd be perfect for these purposes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll do some price checking on that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, a lot of this stuff I'm trying to figure out logistically the dance, I'm trying to, how do we, especially on this, and I know you said we'll come back to it, but I'm really troubled about this proctoring thing. We proctor for a reason.
I would. Can I just interrupt you real quick? I totally understand where you're coming from that. I cannot give you a good answer on that right now. I just need to sit and think about it and think of a good way to do it. I'm 100% sure that we can. So let me just, instead of just pouring over this thing, let's just leave it for now, and I'll get back to you with a plan for what I think we can do once I look at the code and the system and everything. Does that work for you?
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll once I come up with a plan for that and an idea, I'll send that to you in the ticket. And like I said, I just need to sit and think about it for a while. So.
Okay, I'm just trying to, I don't want to be tossing out something unnecessarily, but I keep it. I'm trying to tell myself, well, it doesn't matter, or maybe there's an easier way I'm just not seeing, or maybe I'm not understanding exactly how it would work. Again, I'm trying to picture how that works. Establishing the proctor code, how we get it to the proctor, how we protect it from being used later.
Right.
Those are
And like I said, I can't give you an answer for that right now. I need to sit and think about that and think about how that will all work together. But I will get you an answer on that. Like I said, it's just not something I can come up with in 2 minutes here. So.
Okay. Good deal.
All right. I think that was everything that I wanted to go over. Did you have any other questions or anything before we get off the phone?
No, I wish I'd had Dave on here. I was totally confused as to what this was going to be about, and I just didn't get it. And Dave is great. He texted me in the meantime to send me the call info. I'm just going to tell him that you've got it recorded, and we'll show it to him later.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll upload that and I'll send you the link in the ticket as well.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
That'll work.
Chris, did you have anything before we got off the phone?
No, I think that's fine. Tony, I guess we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, next steps, anything on the other side of the program there, Chris?
We'll need to just go back and forth and continue working on the data conversion. I got back to you with another question there, but we'll keep working.
Okay, and like I say, I sent an email with some membership information, some things about categories and membership
Right.
dues. So hopefully that'll help. And call me if you have any questions on it.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Tony. Bye.
Bye-bye.